Alright, y'all, we back with another video. So today we are going to be talking about the other character that came alongside Yaga. Now, people are probably going to underestimate what he can do and probably don't understand how good this character is. Like, this is probably one of the biggest reasons why I say you probably should do a couple summons on this banner, just purely for the fact that you have two amazing characters, two amazing debuffers on that are literally highly rated within the community, especially on the JP side. So I just figured, okay, well, it's probably best that you do throw a couple multis, or at least try to obtain one of them if possible. All right. And that character that we're going to be talking about today is actually going to be Gakuganji. Gakuganji the GOAT. He's literally a Chad. He has a fucking guitar. He's an old man. Like, come on. Like, you don't see this anywhere else, right? Anyways, he's basically an incredible debuffer, rivaling a lot of other top tier supports. And on top of that, since he is just an SR character like Yaga, he's very easy to get to A5, and because of that, that means you will have more initial cursed energy than your usual SSR supporters, so this does help him get going straight away. At first glance, he seems kind of like, I guess you could say, slightly complicated, right? Because people kind of get this idea from skill 2, they look at it and they be like, oh wow, okay, so your skill 2 kind of alternates your kind of like, I guess you could say, your stance, and this kind of changes what your abilities do. So yeah, basically his skill 2 gives you a tuning ability, and this is kind of a stance switch, which changes the effect of your skill 1 and your skill 3, and then of course your special drastically. Now, most of the time you won't be using his alternate tuning unless you want to get some CC from his skill 3. That's about it. The rest really isn't like high priority out of it, so there's not really that much reason to use skill 2 aside for if you need the disruption slash stun from your skill 3. That is it. So skill 2, don't like hurt your brain or anything trying to like optimize or anything. It's not that big of a deal. Now his skill 3 though, his skill 3 without using alternate tuning, right, without using your skill 2 to tune it, it's an AoE debuff which increases the cursed technique and physical technique damage dealt to the enemy. So it's a debuff, and it's basically SR Yaga's buff but as a debuff. It has slightly lower multipliers, right? It's just slightly lower multipliers, but it's still very powerful overall, right? Now of course it does cost a little bit more cursed energy, I believe, right? Because I think Yaga's is 20, this one is 25. But I mean, regardless, this is literally Yaga's, SR Yaga's like buff, but in debuff format with a little bit less damage taken increase to the enemy. Now, as I mentioned before, his skill 2 is basically some changes to effects of his other skills, and you won't be alternating alternate tuning unless you want to get some CC out of it on his skill 3. And then even then, like I mentioned earlier, it is a big waste of the time because you are better off just using your skill 3 twice rather than just using your skill 2 then your skill 3 just to get a stun off, right? You're just losing out on damage, so a lot of the time it's just better to use skill 3. But there is going to be some cases, very few cases where you might want the actual AoE stun from his skill 3, but it's very rare, and I wouldn't kind of like try to focus too much on trying to use skill 2 and then skill 3. You're better much off just using skill 3 like literally 99% of the time. Now his special is whatever. Honestly, it's whatever. It just gives you some survivability, and obviously when you're alternate tuned, then it can reduce the special gauge of enemies by 1. There's other characters who could do that shit. Like if you wanted to lower enemies' ultimate gauge count, you could use another character who can do that without needing to alternate tune, so you don't have to waste a turn with alternate tuning and then use your ult. It's just like it's a big waste because you're losing on that damage output that you could have if you were just to use skill 3 and then go into your ult, like for your whole entire team. Because keep in mind, he's not going to be your main damage dealer anyways, so it's like I mean, unless the boss is like some crazy damage on his ult, I don't see you ever using your alternate tuning to then go into your what's it called, your ult. That's just a waste of like 2 turns, well, waste of 1 turn, right? Because obviously your ult is not a waste. Now in terms of skill priority, I would prioritize skill 3 the most out of everything, and then your ult. And then if you want to prioritize something else, I mean, realistically skill 2 is whatever. I would probably prioritize your skill 1, I guess. Maybe you want to get some extra damage like when you don't have any cursed energy or something. But skill 2, you're not really using it for the 13% cursed technique increase to yourself. You're just kind of only using it to tune, so you don't really need to level up the skill 2 at all if you don't want to. Now let's go into the actual teams and talk about those. So first up, we have our first team, this team is going to be the team where we kind of showcase what Gakuganji can do in a format of a normal team. Like if you're using him for what you want to use him for, as in debuffing and providing more damage to your team. So we have him as a debuffer, we have Yaga as the debuffer, we have of course Yuki as our curse energy regen, and of course as a buffer. Then we have Hollow Purple Gojo as our damage dealer with non-standard. I'll just show this the skill levels real quick before I move on to the secondary team, and then of course the stats, right? Then we have our secondary team. So this secondary team, it's labeled nuke. It's not really a nuke. This is just going to be trying to show how much damage we can do with Gakuganji skill 3. Now we have, of course, Yaga here, the SR Yaga as our buffer, while having the Wish from a Past to provide some survivability for our team. We don't necessarily need this here. We could even go with Unity, but we're just going to do that in this situation. Yuki, we have Perfect Sync, and of course, we have Momo as another buffer with Combo's Archery Lesson to increase our overall damage output whenever we need to. And yeah, this is just going to be showcasing the damage output with his skill 3. Anyways, without further ado, let's actually get into the showcase. We're probably going to be showcasing on formidable foes or some tower or something. We'll figure it out. It is what it is. All right, so here we are on floor 37. I felt like this is probably the best place to show it because we're using Hollow Purple Gojo and he's a green character. So let's get right into it. We're going to skill 3 with Gakuganji, then we're going to skill 3 with Yaga, and top of that, we're going to be using Unity. Then we're going to skill 3 with our Yuki, and of course, we are going to be attacking straight off the bat with Gojo. And then we're going to be alternating between his skill 2 and skill 3 for the remainder of the fight until we're ready to nuke. So he inflicted darkness, so as you can see, we're not going to take any damage here. We dodged it, easy. We'll skill 3 here, we'll skill 3, skill 1. And then, again, like I mentioned earlier, we're going to be alternating now between skill 2 and skill 3. So as you can see, we inflicted darkness again. He attacks. Obviously, Gojo guarded it. But, I mean, he was going to miss if it was an attack anyways. We're going to skill 3 here, skill 3 here, skill 3 on our Yuki, and then we are going to attack with our Gojo. Guarded that easily. Skill 3 with Gakuganji, we skill 3 again with Yaga, we attack again, then we use, of course, our debuff, right? Yeah, because we attacked last turn. Use our debuff on the enemy again. Attack Gojo once again. We'll skill 3, we'll skill 3. We'll skill 1, and then we'll skill 3 here, right? We'll skill 3 here. And hopefully this breaks. Okay, it didn't break, but that's fine. It's not a big deal anyways. Now here, I'm going to use Kamo's Archery Lesson, and we're going to use skill 3 on Gakuganji, skill 3 here with Yaga, skill 3 on our Yuki, and then we're going to skill 1 on the enemy. I mean, excuse me, not skill 1, skill 2. Right, and then obviously the next turn we'll just nuke him. I mean, it's unfortunate that we weren't able to break the boss, but I think that's fine. It's not a big deal. So we'll skill 3 here, then we'll ult. Maybe we'll be able to break him with the ult. Maybe we can, right? Because we'll combo ult with, of course, Yaga first before attacking with our Gojo. So this is actually probably going to be way better for us, right? Because then we'll be able to break the enemy, and then obviously after that we'll go into his straight damage with Hollow Purple Gojo. Maybe we'll break. Hopefully we break. Okay, never mind. We are not breaking that guy. Very unfortunate, but that's okay. I was hoping for a little bit more damage, but I mean, I guess I should have known. And yeah, here it comes. Bro's getting hit by the Murasaki, and it's literally over for him. Yeah, 11 mil plus or whatever, while he's not even broken, by the way. So, yeah, I mean, he didn't stand a chance. Gakuganji debuffs are insane, as well as having Yaga with his debuffs. It's just like, yeah, the enemy literally cannot withstand all that power, especially with Gojo also applying his debuffs onto the enemy and buffing himself. It's, yeah, GG for him. So yeah, that's basically going to be Gakuganji in a supportive format where you kind of use him to, of course, debuff the enemies and increase your overall damage output. Now let's take a look at the other team I wanted to show real quick with Gakuganji as the leading damage. All right, so here we are on Formidable EX2 of the Kyoto students, I believe it's called. We're going to be running Gakuganji as our mainlining DPS, so let's get right into it. We're just going to buff straight away with Yaga. We're going to buff with Momo, and then we're going to skill 3 with Yuki. Then we're going to skill 3 with our, of course, old man. It's time to get you rock on. So we buff again, we attack skill 1, then we skill 3 again. Alright, he buffed himself real quick, then we're gonna buff, skill 3, skill 3. Broke him, easy. Bro really thought he had this, but he doesn't stand a chance, bruh. And we hit him with skill 3 and we completely wipe him out with the power of music. Okay, never mind. He just got hit. GG. Anyways, we buff here, we skill 1. Doesn't matter who we skill 1 here. And then we skill 3 with our Gakuganji. Okay, she's gonna counter, but it doesn't matter. You wanna know why it doesn't matter? Because my king is about to show him why it doesn't matter. Show her why it doesn't matter. Yeah, that's right, bro. Sit the fuck down. Alright, time to pull up, boys. Pull up. Buff. Buff. Skill 1 on Kamo, and then we skill 3 with our Gakuganji. Then we buff again, we skill 1 on Kamo, and then we skill 3 again with Gakuganji. Then we buff. We Kamo's archery lesson, we buff. Then we use perfect sync and we use the ultimate, and then we use Gakuganji's ult here. Holy, here it comes. Holy, my king. Bro, look at his eyebrows, bro. Holy shit. Flowing in the wind. Divine eyebrows. But yeah, basically that, as you can see, you could just kind of like cleave with your skill 3 if you wanted to do some kind of cleave team. And you would obviously be getting buffed by your other characters, like, you know, Yaga and Momo, Yuki to kind of keep the consistency, while, you know, of course, you have your Gakuganji constantly spamming skill 3 to not only debuff him, but also do AoE damage. Of course, there's one thing I do like to note, is that he's a better cleaver than the SSR Red Maki, which is insane. Like, they really hate that character. And yeah, even Gakuganji's better than her. GG. Straight L's for Maki again. But yeah, that's basically going to be the Gakuganji showcase. We showcased him in the team where he's supporting. We showcased him if we were just trying to do some shenanigans, as, you know, you can just see his damage with his skill 3 isn't that bad. It's pretty good, considering you'll have your buffers and then you'll have him as a debuffer. And it's AoE, so it's good damage. And yeah, I mean, I really like this character. He's really good. He's definitely different. As you can see, he has guitar and he attacks people with fucking guitar. Like, literally his music. It's crazy. And yeah, I mean, that's basically Gakuganji. Definitely a powerful character. And the good thing is he's on the banner with another amazing character. So you have 2 potential good options to pull from that banner. Yeah. Anyways, that's basically going to be the Gakuganji showcase. Appreciate you guys for watching. Let me know what you guys think about Gakuganji. And yeah, see you guys in the next one. Peace.